Hello again. My name is Ardi Asten. Beautiful spring has arrived. The honeybee colonies have grown and are thriving. Today's topic is suppering. Many beekeepers have an issue. When is the right time to do the first suppering and how to do it? Shall I super up, down, or between the overwintered brood boxes? Today, I try to explain how I do it. To make it more simple and understandable, I use a graphic example. If we could use an X-ray machine to watch through the hive walls, we could see where the cluster of bees is located at certain time of the season and how this position changes in time. First, we see that in autumn, after the additional feeding, the winter cluster forms in the lower box near the bottom. There is winter feed in upper box and comes with bee bread on the sides. By the spring, the cluster has moved up and there are some combs with feed left on the sides and upper edges of the combs. In springtime, the brood rearing activates and there will be more and more brood in the hive. Generally, in Estonian conditions, the queen starts active laying in the first half of April. Young workers will hatch 21 days after the egg was laid. This means that young workers will hatch in the beginning of May. At the same time, the brood area continues to grow. So both active brood area and amount of young bees is growing and bees are covering such space. And now the question, when is the correct time to add the box for brood? If the space covered by bees is of this size, it's still too early to super. When the space covered by bees reaches this size, it's time to super. If all the boxes are full of bees, we have missed the right time to super and helped to create swarming impulse in the colony. For the first supering enlargement of brood space, I always use built combs because the forage is sparse in the springtime and comb building is a waste of energy and resources. If we wish to guarantee a fast and effective growth of honeybee colony, it is recommended to use built combs. Where to super? Between the brood boxes. And now the ageless question. Where to super a new brood box? On top, down under, onto the middle. Right now the brood nest is situated in two boxes. If we add a new box between those boxes, we divided this brood nest. A part of it is left in the upper box, part of it in the lowest box, and between the two parts are empty combs, emptiness. If now happens a cold spell and the amount of bees is just a bit not enough to cover both the brood areas and space in between, it results in chilled brood because the effort the bees have to put into keeping the brood warm has risen enormously. Supering on top.
Kui me teeme esimese laienduse ülesse,
if we add an additional brood box on top of overwintered boxes, there is still a danger to chill the brood area in case of cold spells. The warm air rises, but the brood is now down below, and the heat loss is significant. Another risk is having superb forage, which means that bees are filling the topside box with nectar and honey, and there will be no additional space for a queen to lay eggs. Supering below the overwintered brood boxes. The advantage of supering below is that we don't have to worry about chilling the colony during cold spells. If we have lots of colonies and little time, we have sometimes to make some operation preventively. Supering below allows us to super preventively without endangering the microclimate of colony. The negative aspect of supering below might be reluctance of some honeybee subspecies to grow downwards. Every first supering method has its ups and downs. Let's open a hive. Try to evaluate colony strength and super, just for example. While working with bees, one should wear bright-colored clothing. The morning was chilly, so I am wearing dark jacket. The bees might mistake me for a bear. They probably do, so preferably wear something bright. %80 of the information about the condition of a colony and our option to handle it comes as soon as we open the hive. Opening moment gives a lot of information. First bit of it. There is a beautiful amount of bees. Now we remove the excluder. From above, we can see that comb is filled with fresh white wax. It's a good sign, which indicates that the amount of bees is sufficient. The outer comb alleys are not filled with bees. There we see the brood. The colony seems to be all right. Now I lift the upper box to further evaluate the colony. We can see that bees have built some per comb. This indicates that they have some power reserves. We can see again that the outer comb alleys are not filled with bees. Seems like ideal time for supering. Beekeeper is not late and we don't have to super preventively either. For this purpose, we lift the upper box behind the hive. Now we have to lift the lower box. Another evaluation follows from situation in the lower part of lower box. As you can see, the cluster is situated well. For suppering, we place box with empty build combs on the bottom board. All my boxes have flight entrance. After spring suppering, I leave only the bottom entrance open. The other are sealed with foam rubber. We use also entrance reducers for bottom boards. This time we leave it in place, because there is still a chance for cold spell. Here we have new brood box below. The bees and brood are currently situated here, but following the development of the colony, the queen and brood move downward. The first spring suppering is complete. Colonies are growing nicely. Let's hope there will be a good honey season. Now, there is some time to ponder some honey processing equipment. Honey tank for storing and warming honey, and of course a honey pump. Well, it is an obligation for a beekeeper to forget lifting honey in buckets. Beekeeper has to care about his pack and to acquire our honey pump. Follow our other lessons. Next time we discuss queen rearing. Thank you and goodbye. If you want to see more of our activities, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or suggestions about the content of the video, leave a comment.